This video will tell you what the Pokemon games are all about. Satoshi Tajiri, the creator of Pokemon, was an insect collector when he was young. He wanted to pass on the experience of collecting bugs to the next generation. With some help from Nintendo in 1996, he published the first two Pokemon games, Pokemon Red and Pokemon Green. An almost overnight success made the games a hit in Japan, and soon it was localized in the United States as Pokemon Red and Pokemon Blue. Soon after that, an anime aired in 1998. A trading card game was released in 1999. And a pair of sequels, Pokemon Gold and Pokemon Silver, was published in 2000. Pokemon was a worldwide phenomenon. A Pokemon is a sentient animal, plant, or inanimate object with special powers that travel with you. Many Pokemon are derived from real creatures, things, and ideas. The term Pokemon is actually a contraction of the words pocket and monster. Now, I know what you're thinking. How would someone carry around little creatures in their pocket?
Well, the answer is simple, with Pokeballs. Pokeballs are small little capsules that provide homes for Pokemon when they travel with you. The Pokemon aren't just crammed into them though, they kind of shrink down and fit in there until they are called out. Pokeballs come in many different shapes and sizes, so you can have the perfect home for your Pokemon.
Anyway, like most other living things, Pokemon have a life cycle, given it is slightly different. All Pokemon hatch from eggs. It's unknown how Pokemon eggs come to be, but every Pokemon hatches from one. Also, Pokemon don't age. Pokemon evolve into a different, more powerful species depending on how much experience they have. Pokemon evolution is more similar to just growing than actual evolution. Some Pokemon evolve up to 2 times, while some never evolve. Some Pokemon can even Mega Evolve, a new kind of evolution that was recently discovered, that allows fully evolved Pokemon to become even more powerful. Pokemon can die, but the average lifespan of a Pokemon is currently unknown. Pokemon are classified by types. In Pokemon Red and Green there are 15 types. In 2000 there are 2 new types, Dark and Steel, and in 2013 the Fairy type was introduced. Right now there are 18 types. Normal, Grass, Fire, Water, Fighting, Flying, Poison, Ground, Rock, Bug, Ghost, Electric, Psychic, Ice, Dragon, Dark, Steel, and Fairy. We decided to take a poll of what everyone's favorite type
My
was.
favorite type has to be Dragon.
My favorite type is Fire.
Is Water.
My favorite type is the Ghost type.
Fire.
My favorite type is probably the Ground type.
Fire.
According to the poll, the most popular type was Fire. A Pokemon's type determines a lot of its traits. For example, you wouldn't see a Squirtle, a water-type Pokemon, living in the desert because there's not much water around. Instead, it would live somewhere near water, like the ocean. A Pokemon's type also determines its strengths in battle. For example, in a battle between a Fire type and a Grass type, a Fire type would win because it would be able to burn down its opponent. A Pokemon's typing can also determine its defensive qualities. For example, in a battle between an Electric and a Ground type, the Ground type Pokemon would have the advantage because it's immune to Electric type moves. One of the main goals of the Pokemon games is to catch every Pokemon. There's many different species of Pokemon to collect out there. In fact, there's 718 right now. So how do you catch Pokemon? It's easy, use Pokeballs. A Pokeball is actually a capturing device used to collect wild Pokemon. Once Pokemon's captured, it's yours for the keeping. An item called the Pokédex records data about Pokemon as you catch them. It's very useful for keeping track of how many you've caught. Remember, you gotta catch them all. If you aren't really a collector, that's alright. The games also tend to the more competitive people in the form of Pokemon battles. A Pokemon battle is a great opportunity for Pokemon to hone their skills, show off their abilities, and give them enough experience to evolve. Pokemon battles only last until one Pokemon is no longer able to fight. Another key part of the Pokemon games is trading. Trading Pokemon gives you a chance to meet new Pokemon. The games are designed so that certain Pokemon are only available into certain games. Trading is also required for some Pokemon to evolve. Trading Pokemon is necessary in order to complete your Pokédex and catch every Pokemon. We decided to do a poll and ask everyone what their favorite thing about Pokemon was.
I like Pokemon games because there's so much to do in them. Plus, it's just way better than real life. Because there's like so much things you could do that you can't do in real life.
I like Pokemon because I can catch them.
I like Pokemon because it's different than any other thing I've played.
The reason I like the Pokemon games because they're awesome.
They're a big part of my childhood.
I like to trade with people in foreign countries.
It's very adventurous and very fun.
Pokemon is a great game if you like creatures, collecting things, being adventurous, and like to escape reality. Why not try one of them? The end. Yay.
It's over. Good. Great.
Awesome.
YOLO.